like, no, hell no, bro. You do not do this to me. And
you try to fight back.
Exactly. If you see how I came out the same way. Exactly. I came out the first round. I came out trying to kill this guy.
Yeah.
And I mean, as a fighter's mindset, I'm like, no, I'm good. Yeah. But reality.
All right, Sports Aholicz. Welcome to our first ever podcast. We have a special guest with us today, Christian El Chimpa Gonzales. Thanks for being here with us, man.
Nah, man. Thank you guys for having me, man.
Really appreciate you being here, man. All right, let's get to it, man. All right, so you're a fighter from Buena Park, California, repping that Orange County. Hell yeah. All right, let's just start from the beginning, man. How was life for you growing up?
Growing up, man, you know, it's in Buena Park. It's a city where it's well, right now it's not too good. It's getting full of, you know, gangs and things like that. But you know, when I grew up with you know, with always a group of same friends and, you know, the people that lived in my apartment. And so it was a good time growing up. I mean, we would play it all, man. We'll play soccer, we'll play hockey, we'll play with BB guns, we'll play everything, man. And then boxing. I mean, at the time, my brother would train. My older brother would start training with my dad, and I mean, he would train him at the house. And then my dad would ask me, "Hey, man, when are you gonna train?" I was like, "Nah, no, thank you. I'm gonna become a soccer player." And yeah, man, I grew up playing soccer majority of the time, playing soccer outside. And then when I turned what was it, 11, 12, I joined the soccer team with Chivas USA, and they took me to Mexico to play a soccer tournament out there for 10 days. And nice. When I came back, I said, you know what? That's it, man. I'm done. I'm done with soccer. And I went full-time to boxing, man. So it was pretty cool, man.
So what happened in soccer that said, hey, you know what? I'm done with soccer. Did something happen in that tournament that were you just like, hey, you know what? Like, maybe it's not for me? Or
no, man. You know what? I was doing both at the same time.
Okay.
I was on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I would train box, and then from boxing I would go to play soccer. And you know, my dad said, "Hey, man, you're 12 years old. It's too much of a hassle for you. You gotta pick one. It's either one thing or another." And then I told my dad, "All right, what do you think? Give me your opinion." Or no, I asked him, "What should I do? What do I pick?" And then my dad said, "Well, do whatever you want." And I said, "All right, give me your opinion." And he told me, "Look, in soccer, I see that you started too late to play like an official team, and in boxing, I think you're at a perfect age right now." And then he says, "When you're 18, I don't see you as a professional in soccer, but when you're 18, I do see you a professional in boxing." And he gave me his point of view, and I said, "You know what? Let's go to boxing, man." So I said, "Let's do it."
That's cool, man. Yeah. So, like you said, you know, your brother, he was a boxer. You know, to me, his record was outstanding. You know, yes. Beating, you know, fighters like Orlando Salido. You know, a legend. You know, how was that? In your perspective, was that kind of like a big motivation for you to get into boxing in the first place?
In a way, I mean, I always grew up. I mean, I was small when he did all this, but kind of growing up, I would watch his fights here and there. Obviously, they weren't live, but I mean, I would watch the replays on YouTube or whatever. I would or TV films that my dad had, and I would just watch them here and there. And like I said, my mindset was I'm gonna be a soccer player, and I didn't really. I mean, I would watch him here and there, but I mean, like I said, being a boxer was. I came into boxing, you could pretty much say like an accident, man, because how I started boxing was one day I was at the gym one day, and I was dressed up as a soccer player, you know, and it was a Tuesday or Thursday, because those days I would go to the boxing gym, watch my brother train, and then I would head to soccer. And you know, I'm dressed as a soccer player one day with my soccer shoes and everything, and you know, some kid walks in and says, "Oh, I want to spar with that kid." And that kid was me. I was playing at the time my PSP.
Oh, okay.
You know, I was playing that, and he comes in. He's like, "I want to spar with that kid." And then, well, my dad told me, "Hey, man, this kid wants to fight with you." my dad says that I turned pale, man. That I turned pale. And he's like, what happened? This guy wants to spar with you, blah, blah, blah. And then, my dad said, you're scared? And I said, no, I'm not scared. And I'm like, I'll do it. And have in mind, this is my first time ever going up in the ring, man. And, they suited me up. I sparred with soccer cleats, just for a soccer player. They just put the cup on, no mouthpiece, nothing like that. Just I went like up and I sparred with some kid. 1 round, I freaking just started throwing. I didn't know nothing, man. My dad said that I was shaking like I wanted to jump, but at the same time I didn't know. Yeah. And he says I just looked. It was too funny, but I made the kid bleed and everything. Man. And then it was one of Clemente Medina's. One of his fighters. So he saw me how I started, yeah. And then I beat up I beat him up the kid. He was all bloody, and then I get to a corner at the end of the first round, and then I was like, no, that's it. Like I'm tired. Take this shit off, and then my dad's like, no, one more, and then Clemente's like, no, I'm gonna put this bigger kid in because he's almost beat up my little one, and so they put a bigger guy in, and I was tired, man, I came out the same way, throwing some bombs, and I landed a couple of them, and I made them bleed too, and then I was like, you know what, man, this is fun, man, and then that's how I started. I started going every Tuesday and Thursday. I would go, and then I was like, hey, man, this is real fun.
That's crazy, man. So, like you said, you were tired, even though soccer is nothing but conditioning. You're running, 45 minutes per half. How is that different from boxing? When it comes to conditioning,
you know what, man, it's just a different. It's crazy, because even now that when I'm in good shape, I'm like, all right, and I'm fighting shape and everything, and someone invites me to play either soccer or something, soccer or basketball, and I'm playing. I'm like, I'm trying to, grab my air, man, and it's I don't know what it is, but it gets you real tired, man. When I guess you gotta get used to. I don't know what it is, but it gets you tired, man, real tired.
Yeah. Like I said, I played soccer. I've never been in a ring, like where we used to spar kind of like in the garage and stuff like that. But it was never like, okay, yeah. Give me 2 rounds, like it's never been like the full, 2 minutes of just punching someone, but when it comes to soccer, like I would run. I was just, hey, dude, I could play both halves, no problem,
Easy.
So I never like really got the chance to, go in the ring and, try it out and see if you can hang, but I'm guessing it's totally different.
Yeah, it's pretty tiring. It is. It's actually really tiring. Just the fact that you have gloves on and having them here, man. It gets you tired.
Your arms are probably like,
but hey, man, at the end, and then they ask me, oh, do they hurt? Do the punches hurt? Not really, man. Until the next day or a couple hours later, you start looking in the mirror and your cheek is starting swelling, your eyes getting closed. But in the moment, with the adrenaline, you don't feel nothing.
So do the effects of the punches start coming the next day, or is it like, do you wake up with like a massive like headache, or how does that work?
Well, you know what? Sometimes I have a headache for a couple of days, man. When you get cracked pretty hard in the head, like you wake up pretty, hurting, and then as after the fight. I mean, nothing hurts. Nothing. You're cool, And then a couple hours later, like I said, you look in the mirror and you start getting like marks. And then, the next day you wake up and you're like, God damn, man, what happened? And you hurt for a couple of days.
Damn.
And then you don't sleep for a couple of days either because I miss sleep probably like I say like 4 days prior to the fight because. One day before the weigh-in, I can't sleep because I'm constantly thinking, I'm like, damn, I'm thirsty, I'm hungry. Mm-hmm. You can't really sleep because you're constantly thinking, I just want to weigh in already. All right, you don't sleep too well that night. And then the night of the weigh-in, you weigh in, whatever. And then you just, after weigh-in, you can't sleep because you're just constantly thinking of the fight. Like, the nerves will start kicking in. And then, so you don't sleep too well. And then the day of the fight, after the fight, whether you lose or win, you're just like either you're upset, you keep on thinking about it, or you're just excited, you're hyped, and you don't sleep for a couple of days.
So when a fighter weighs in, they make weight. What do you guys what's your meal prep like after that? You rehydrate, right? Like, or what do you eat after that?
Well, I was doing it wrong. Like my first couple of fights, like I just wanted sweets, man. Like sweets. I just wanted ice cream, Snicker bars. And I really wouldn't eat much, And I would go up only like 6 or 7 pounds, and because I wasn't eating, the things that I had to eat. And so when I went up with Joel, and he told me, oh yeah, like after weigh-ins, I mean, when I would do it, I wanted soda, I wanted my Dr. Pepper, and nah, that's you drink that till after your fight. And then when I went with Joel, he said, no, you gotta eat, you gotta, continue to eat healthy because you brought up, you're in camp for 8 weeks and you're eating healthy throughout those 8 weeks, and then all of a sudden you just feed it junk, and your body kind of takes it, a little differently. So right after that, I would eat right away my steak, whatever it is, just a steak with my mashed potatoes, a little bit of vegetables, and that's it, man. And my coconut water, because I don't like Pedialyte, I don't like none of that, and but no soda, no candy, nothing, man, till after the fight. And yeah, the difference is, I mean, how much I would go up in weight was a big difference to when I would eat right, when I would feed my body the right stuff. I mean, I think I would blow up like 15 pounds from one day to another. When I would eat back then I would eat just chips, candy, things that I didn't want. I would only go up 6 or 7 pounds,
it's a difference, like what you eat, your body would intake it a different way, So, so you started your career 16-0, man.
Yes.
And fortunately, you suffered your first loss. How tough was that loss for you, man?
You know what, man? I was devastated, man. I was upset, but I just had the right people around me. I had my family. I had my close friends that kind of came together and they said, hey, you know what, Chimpa, things like this only happen to the best of us, and a lot of people reached out, a lot of champions. Like when it happened, one of them was Oscar Valdez. He reached out, and he wrote me, a long message, and he said, hey, you know what? Like this only happens to the best of us. Everybody that's talking crap. It's the people that have never stepped into a ring, that never put on a pair of gloves. He's like, don't read any messages. And Victor Ortiz told me he also reached out. He told me the same exact thing. And Surto Ramirez, they all reached out and they said, hey, man, keep your head up. And so I think, that really helped me out. That they reached out, and like I said, family was around me and everybody. But yeah, man, I was hurting for a couple of days, man. Yeah. I was really upset.
Yeah, man. So you were training with your dad here. He was in your corner. And when was the decision made for you that you would go with Coach Diaz?
You know what? It came to a point where, I mean, at the end of the day, he's my dad, and it just started to affect the father and son bond, because like everything was just boxing with him. Everything was boxing, and I mean, when I would do something wrong at the gym, like he would blow up on me, and then I would get mad, and then I would take it to the house, and then I wouldn't even talk to him at the house because I was mad, and it just started affecting the father and son, and so we both came to a conclusion, like, you know what, like it's not even worth losing you as a father, and you losing you as a kid for something that can end tomorrow.
Exactly.
And so yeah, that's what we kind of took the step back, and yeah, he's been always in my corner, always there, but as a trainer, yeah, he kind of had to step back because it just wasn't functioning anymore, man.
Yeah. So is Coach Diaz right now, like, I mean, do you have any plans of like continuing boxing? Do you have any plans of like maybe an upcoming fight right now?
As of now, I'm done for the rest of the year. I'm done. I'm gonna take some little time off, get my stuff together, and see how I feel. See how I feel to come back next year. I told the people from Golden Boy, I told, my family that I'm done for the rest of the year because it's been, well, I'm 23 now, almost 24, and I turned pro at 17. So it's been, like 5 years that, you can't really do much because, you're going to fight in 2 months. You're going to fight, you win fast and you're going to fight within, X amount of time. And so you can't really do certain amount of things that you wish you can do because you're going to fight soon or whatever. And, like you literally need, it's like a lifestyle that you need, throughout your whole career. You can't blow up too much in weight because you got to drop or things like that. And so I said, you know what, I'm gonna take some time off and think about what I really want. And if and when I ever feel that that hunger back in me, I'll fight again. Like I said, I'm 23. I still have time to kind of think about it. I am gonna go back to school. I'm gonna get my things together and yeah, man. Hopefully sometime next year. I'm not too sure when, but we'll definitely be back next year and give it another shot, man.
Yeah, man. I'm looking forward to that, man. I'll be there at your next fight for sure, man.
Thank you.
So, like we were talking about your brother, he becomes world champ, man. Like, tell us how the family environment was when that happened.
Well, you know what? At the time, I was 1 year old. I was 1 year old, or I was just a couple of months old when he was, world champion. But just growing up and things like that. Oh yeah, it's Cobrita's family, blah blah, and people be like, oh, they'll look at us, a little different. Yeah. And then now that I was a little older and he helped me out my first couple of fights, and yeah, man, it's a bit of pressure because people expect me to fight like him or to do good just like him. So it's always a little pressure having someone, some boxing family that are in the same blood, because they expect you to do good like him or whatever. But so that's why to a point, whatever, man. If they found out that I was related to him, cool. If not, then I wouldn't say nothing.
All right. So recently on Instagram, you posted that I commented on. You put it was like a stuffed animal and said, she won't fight back, and I didn't get it at first, but then like I said, you were there with your girlfriend at the fight, Lorraine.
Yeah.
And I told him like, oh damn, she's a boxer too, like coming like, how is that? Is there ever like a time where you and her kind of get into a scuffle and just say, hey, you know what? Get the sparring gear. Let's do this right now. Let's settle this in the ring.
I always tell her, man, I want to kick your butt, man. And then she's all like, yo, only if you were my weight, because she fights, man, my leg weighs more than her, man. She fights at 102, 106. And then, actually sometimes, it helps having a girlfriend that kind of shares the same sport as you.
Exactly.
Because sometimes she understands me, when I'm leading up to a fight, how I get, and she understands when I say, I'm not gonna see you for X amount of time because I'm just on a short fuse. And so she understands, her family understands. And then just sometimes when we don't go out, we don't party, sometimes she says, let's go running. So on a Sunday, we are a date, we go around for a couple miles, we go to the park, we go to the beach where we run, and we run together as a couple.
That's
so
cool.
That's our date once in a while, man.
Yeah, but that's cool, man. Like there's not a lot of people that can kind of compare that to themselves, like, hey, you know what, like I have a girlfriend that fights too, so that's pretty cool, man. But like I said, like I just want to, like, right now, I just want to thank you for being here, man.
Man.
Like if there's anybody out there that you want to shout out right now, go feel free to give a shout out.
Before, thank you guys, for having me on your guys' first little broadcast, and no, just thank you for everybody that has shown me support throughout my whole career. People that have been there since day one. It's still not over. Bear with me. We'll be back sometime next year. And once again, man, thank you guys so much, man.
Yeah, man. Hey, thanks for being here, man. You took the time off to be here, and I really appreciate that. It's our first Podcast, and I want to thank Chimpa.
A lot of stuff on the background.
Yeah, we'll edit that out. Yeah, thanks, man. One last question, man. How El Chimpa? How did that come about, man?
Oh man, that's the question I get a lot, man. It's a lot of people even ask me, "Hey man, is that your real name?" I'm like, "Nah, man, my name's Christian." But ever since I was one, every time I don't do it now because I don't dance at all. But every time I would hear music, I would put my hands up in the air and I would move like a chimp, I would move like a chimp, and it stayed. And my mom said, "Hey, you know what? He moves like a chimpanzee." And Chimpa, and to this day, man. Like when people call me Christian, I'm like, "Oh, is it me? I feel weird when someone calls me Christian. And when I was in school, I would put in my paper Chimpa.
You would write the name on
yeah,
there?
man. Something. One day I went to the bank, man. I went to the bank and I said, "Oh, something's wrong with my account, right?" And so the banker knew me, and I gave her my card and she just put it right there and she didn't even look at it. She was putting Chimpa Gonzales, right? Mm-hmm. And then nothing was popping up because that's not my name. Mm. And then so she turned kind of red. She's like, "Oh my God, for some reason you're not popping up in my system." So she gets my card and then she turned red. And then I was like, "What happened?" She's like, "Oh, it's because I'm putting Chimpa Gonzales." I thought, I thought that was your name. And I'm like, "No, that's not my name. It's just, like I said, everybody calls me Chimpa."
Damn, dude, that's crazy, man. Hey, well, us Mexicans, dude. You get a nickname, it stays with you forever, man.
That's right.
So we all have nicknames, and that's the cool part about our culture. Yeah. You embrace the nickname.
Yes, that's right.
So yeah, dude. Like I said, I want to thank you again for coming on the show, dude. Like I said, I can't wait for you to get back.
Thank you, man.
We'll be there at your next fight supporting you, man.
Thank you.
I want to give a shout out to my brothers, Juan, Albert, Abraham. I want to give a shout out to Adam Castro's Boxing over there in Carlsbad, Joey Beltran, Pete Nowback, everybody that's ever supported me since day one. I want to say thank you, and we'll catch you soon again. Thanks.